On a cold, rainy evening, Robert Sinclair, a successful millionaire, was driving home after a long day at work. The city was bustling, as usual, with people hurrying to escape the downpour. Robert was used to this lifestyle, the wealth, the power, the endless meetings, but something had been missing in his life. As his car approached an intersection, he noticed something unusual on the sidewalk. A young woman, drenched from head to toe, was huddled under a small awning, trying to shield herself and her baby from the rain. Her clothes were tattered, and the baby, wrapped in a thin blanket, was crying softly. Robert's heart sank at the sight. For a moment, he thought about driving on, as he had always done in the past, but something in the woman's eyes, a mix of despair and determination, compelled him to stop. Without overthinking it, Robert pulled over and got out of the car, his expensive suit immediately getting soaked in the rain. He approached the woman, who looked up at him with tired, weary eyes. "Are you okay?" he asked, his voice gentle but firm. The woman nodded, though it was clear she was far from okay. We're just trying to stay dry," she said, her voice shaking with cold. Robert looked at the baby, who had fallen silent, perhaps sensing the tension in the air. Without a second thought, he reached into his wallet and pulled out a credit card. "Here," he said, handing it to her. "Take this. Use it to get a hotel room, food, whatever you need for you and your baby." The woman stared at the card in disbelief. "I can't take this," she protested, though her eyes betrayed how much she wanted to. "Please," Robert insisted. "Take it. I'll give you the PIN. Just promise me you'll use it to take care of yourself and your baby." After a moment's hesitation, the woman took the card, her hands trembling. "Thank you," she whispered, tears mixing with the rain on her face. Robert watched as she clutched the card to her chest, seemingly overwhelmed by the gesture. "What's your name?" he asked. "Emily," she replied, holding her baby closer. "Thank you. I don't know how to repay you." "Just take care of yourself," Robert said softly, before turning and walking back to his car. As he drove away, he couldn't shake the image of Emily and her baby from his mind. He had done what he could, but the encounter left him feeling unsettled, like there was more he should have done. A few days later, as Robert was getting ready for work, his phone rang. It was his personal assistant, sounding more frantic than usual. "Mr. Sinclair, there are police officers here to see you," she said. "They say it's urgent." Robert's heart skipped a beat. Police? What could they possibly want? His mind immediately went to Emily. Had something happened to her? "Send them up," he said, trying to keep his voice calm. Minutes later, 2 uniformed officers entered his office. They were polite but serious. "Mr. Sinclair," one of them began, "we're here in connection with a report about your credit card." Robert frowned. "My credit card?" "Yes, sir," the officer continued. "A few days ago, a young woman was seen using your card to pay for a hotel room and several large purchases. We were called to investigate because the hotel staff found it suspicious that someone in her condition was using such a high-limit card." Robert felt a pang of guilt. "Yes, I gave her that card. She was homeless, with a baby. I wanted to help." The officers exchanged a glance. "We appreciate your intention, sir," the other officer said, "but we need to verify that this wasn't a case of theft or fraud." "It wasn't," Robert said firmly. "I gave it to her willingly. Is she okay?" "She is," one of the officers replied. "She and her baby are staying at a shelter now. But the shelter staff contacted us because they were concerned about how she came into possession of such a large amount of money." Robert sighed, running a hand through his hair. "I just wanted to help her. I didn't think about the consequences." The officers nodded, understanding. "We can close the case if you're sure this is what you wanted. But we recommend you contact her, just to make sure everything is above board." Robert thanked the officers and, after they left, immediately asked his assistant to find out which shelter Emily was staying at. Once he had the information, he decided to visit her, needing to know if she and the baby were truly okay. Later that afternoon, Robert arrived at the shelter. It was a modest building, clean and well-kept, but the sight of so many people in need weighed heavily on him. When he asked about Emily, the staff recognized him immediately, having heard about the incident with the police. They guided him to a small common room where Emily was sitting with her baby, looking more relaxed than she had in the rain, but still carrying an air of weariness. When Emily saw Robert, she stood up quickly, a mixture of relief and nervousness in her eyes. "Mr. Sinclair, I'm so sorry about the trouble I caused you with the police. I didn't know what else to do." Robert shook his head. "You did nothing wrong, Emily. I should have done more to help you from the start." He looked at the baby, who was now smiling and cooing. "How are you both doing?" "We're better," Emily said, her voice soft. "The shelter has been very kind, and I've been able to get some rest. But I can't keep relying on handouts forever." Robert nodded, understanding her pride. "You don't have to, Emily. I want to help you get back on your feet, for good this time. What if we found you a job, maybe something at one of my hotels? You could start fresh." Emily looked at him, stunned by his offer. "A job? I wouldn't even know where to start." "I'll help you," Robert said gently. "You don't have to do this alone." The next few weeks were transformative. Robert helped Emily secure a job as a receptionist at one of his hotels. She was a quick learner, and her natural kindness made her a favorite among the staff and guests. Meanwhile, Robert found himself more involved in her life, checking in on her and the baby regularly. What had started as a simple act of charity had grown into something deeper, a bond neither of them had expected. As time passed, Robert and Emily's friendship deepened into something more. Robert found himself drawn not just to Emily's resilience, but also to her warmth and the way she faced life's challenges with quiet strength. Emily, in turn, saw in Robert not just a wealthy benefactor but a man of compassion and integrity. They began spending more time together outside of work, often bringing the baby along for walks in the park or quiet dinners at Robert's home. Their relationship blossomed naturally, and soon, they were inseparable. Emily, once hesitant to accept help, now found comfort in Robert's presence, knowing that he cared for her deeply. Robert, who had once been focused solely on his businesses, now found new purpose in caring for Emily and her child. A year after their fateful meeting in the rain, Robert proposed to Emily, not out of obligation, but out of genuine love. He had found in her something he had never known he was missing: a partner, a family. They were married in a small, intimate ceremony, attended by close friends and family, with Emily's baby boy standing proudly as Robert's son. As they settled into their new life together, Robert couldn't help but reflect on how much his life had changed since that rainy night. What began as a simple act of kindness had led him to the love of his life and the family he had always secretly longed for. And as for Emily, she had gone from struggling to survive on the streets to becoming the wife of a man who cherished her and a mother to a child who would never have to know the hardships she endured. They lived happily, knowing that sometimes the most unexpected encounters can lead to the most beautiful beginnings. In the end, Robert and Emily's story was not just about charity or chance. It was about the power of compassion, the resilience of the human spirit, and the belief that love can truly change everything. Hope you enjoyed this story. Don't forget to like it and subscribe to our channel. Your participation is essential so that we can continue to bring you more incredible stories. Share it with your friends to help our channel grow. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.